What is up, guys? Orbital-Pilot back here once again in the world of Warthunder. This time bringing you a brand new A5 first impressions video. So this is the very first A5 Sabre you can get. Actually, the very first Sabre you should get. And these Sabres hold a very special place in my heart because these are actually my favorite mass-produced planes of all time. So getting to fly one is just always a joy. So real quick, let's do some pre-flight testing. So starting off at we'll call it 0 meters. We'll call it exactly sea level, just for rounding. And I'm going to see how far you can take this plane up before leveling out at around 200 miles an hour. So, of course, this is the slowest and basically the worst Sabre you can get in the game. And it is at a battle rating of 9.0, so it's going to fight with the big boy jets. And by that, I mean it's going to fight with the MiG-17s, the MiG-15 Bisses, all the top tier 9.0 jets. This will definitely go against. And so we level out at about 4,500 meters. So from roughly 630 miles an hour at sea level, this will take you about 4,500 meters up. Of course, that's not nearly what an F2 or a MiG-17 or a Hunter, well, actually, the Hunter's not too good in that test, but it's not bad, and you will be able to compete with higher tier jets. So now I'm going to see if we can catch its smoke trail. I know this is a prop test, but I just want to see how close I can actually get. And actually, it's not too bad. It's not nearly as bad as, for instance, the Hunter would be. It's actually quite good. I feel it's better than the F-80, and that could just be me, but I like the way this plane handles far better than the F-80 or the F-84. So just testing rolling speeds at about 300 miles an hour, the plane rolls quite decently. It doesn't roll so fast that it kind of takes your aim off, but it doesn't roll slow either. And the rudders on this plane are very nice. It's a very tall rudder, and that allows for a very straight rudder control. And by that I mean when you hit the rudder, it's not going to drag your plane up or down too much. So I'm going to dive down to the deck and see what speed we can hit. So a good test in jets is to climb to about 4,000 meters, waste some energy, and actually dive back down and see what you can get. And actually, we just redlined, and this redline's at about 665 miles an hour. So not only was I able to spike climb up there, do some maneuvers, I was actually able to use that altitude, dive back down, and actually hit terminal velocity, and use the remaining energy to get back up. But let's see how far we can actually get back up. So last time we got around 4,500 meters, and very capable of getting back to that altitude. So energy is not bad on this plane. I mean, it keeps its energy quite well, and it's not something that I would really worry about. So let's actually see what speed this plane rips its wings. So diving from about 4,500 meters, starting at about 500 miles an hour, you should be able to hit terminal velocity. And this plane is actually capable of hitting the speed of sound at higher altitudes, though. At these very low altitudes where the air is thick at sea level, it's going to max out at 695 miles an hour. Not bad for a stock A5 Sabre. So let's get into some real gameplay. So I actually flew out 10 matches before this, or around there, and I got slaughtered. I'm going to be honest. I got absolutely and completely slaughtered. This is my first time flying in a top tier jet in a very long time. So I was not used to the tactics. I was just getting slaughtered. So in this game, we're actually kind of lucky. There are some MiG-9s, some MiG-15 Bisses, and I think 1 or 2 MiG-17s. But this is actually a down tier, and I feel really bad for that Horton 229. He should not be at this battle rating. So, tips for this plane. If you are just unlocking this plane, keep your plane above 550 miles an hour. This plane really seems to get it above 500 miles an hour, and as you move on, the speed will actually increase. The acceleration on this plane after 550 miles an hour seems to be spectacular. Even in an A5 Sabre, I seem to be able to outrun MiG-15 Bisses, and maybe that's not forever, especially stock, but I do outrun them once we're past that 500-mile-an-hour mark. And that, it makes a really, really big difference, especially with some tactics that I'm just now learning. So, kill a MiG-9 on the way up and use the remaining 645 miles an hour of energy to gain about 3,000 meters of altitude. So now I am diving back down on this MiG-15, And what you need to remember about the A5 Sabre is that if you're flying it, you are not a main battle plane. You are a support aircraft, which means you don't go for the main MiG-17s. Leave those to the F2s, leave those to the Hunters. But if the F2 or, the top tier jet is in trouble, go help him. You are a support aircraft in that terminology. So, at first I thought this MiG-15 was going into a stall. I don't think he actually was. I think he just had a fuel leak. I don't really know if that was a kill steal. I didn't mean it to be. But I'm sorry if it was, if you're watching this guy. I did not mean for that to be a kill steal. Originally I thought he was going into a flat spin, but I guess he was not. So, use the remaining energy to get altitude. Always have some sort of speed in this plane. Whether it's actual speed where you're going around 650 miles an hour, or you have speed in the bank. And by that I mean altitude. Always have either altitude or speed in this plane. And that really should go for all jets. But when you're in a slower, jet like this, like the A5, where you're not really the toughest plane out there, you really need an advantage. Another thing is, don't go head on, especially with MiG-17s. Now, MiG-15s, I don't really mind taking a head on every once in a while, but don't commit. This was a big thing for me because I've been flying so much British, and as you guys know, I really love my head-ons with Hispanos, but just don't go head on and commit with these MGs. If you do, shoot from around 1 mile or 1.3 miles out and just dodge out of the way, because it's really not worth it. So overall, I really do like the feeling of the A5 Sabre. I'm grinding out the F25 Sabre right now, and that should be coming up fairly soon. The problem is do I want to buy a Tailsman on the F25 or the A5 to grind out that F2? Or should I just keep my Tailsman on my F84 and use it to grind out the later F2 Sabre? Not really sure, but let me know in the comments below, guys, what you thought of this video, what I can do to improve, and what's your opinion on the A5 Sabre. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.